Another one. Another one. Touchdown Jags! Ball game!
Another Jags podcast.
Welcome, everyone, to another Jags podcast, episode 29. We are previewing week 2 of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Before we get started, we want to remind everyone, again, we're going to say it every week, we are on Twitter at Another Jags Pod, Facebook, Instagram, Another Jags Podcast. You can find us on our website, anotherjagspodcast.com, or on YouTube at Another Jags Podcast, SoundCloud, iTunes, all that good stuff. We're out there, ready to be heard. So spread the word. We have an undefeated team, the Jacksonville Jaguars, playing another undefeated team, the New England game in New England. This time, it's at the bank in Jacksonville. This time, it's going to be a different result. Spoiler alert, there's my prediction going forward. But let's talk about it, guys. We have Joey, Robert, and Jason with us, a full crew. Let's talk about expectations for this game. What are you expecting to see in terms of the Giants game versus this week? Do you see better play from our offense? Do you see the same play from our defense? I'm not sure how that can get any better. Well, what are your expectations going forward?
I'd say this is the toughest one out of the first quarter. Like, coach likes to break them up into quarters. I picked them to have, 5 or 6 losses, so I'd have to say this is probably
5 or 6. Let's say what you really predicted. 6 losses.
Okay, 6.
All right, thank you.
Fair enough.
And a tie.
I'd have to say not pick a tie because that's garbage. But I would have to say this is their loss out of the 4 first games. But I can't say that out loud. Like, I cannot pick them to lose, and the reason being is that they're playing with a chip on their shoulder this game. I don't think the Patriots are so much. I mean, I don't think and plus half the Patriots that played them aren't even on the team anymore.
Right.
I mean, it's a crazy different lineup on that side. Offensive wise, to answer the question, I think we play pretty similar. I still think there's a lot of kinks to work out there rhythm wise and just finding out who's going to step up and who's not. But defensive wise, I think we play even better.
Even better against Tom Brady?
Even better.
Wow. Why? Hold on. Sorry, Robert. I want to.
Because they're so pissed about that last game.
Okay.
I mean, I think if there's any game this season that they're going to play above their level of ability, which, I mean, that's crazy to think about, it's this game.
See, that's what worries me the most is that now we have made some changes this second year with our defensive players playing together with a bunch of these guys, and they're going to be better this year. But the one part that concerns me the most, based off of last year, is that games we do the worst at on defense is quarterbacks that get the ball out quick. We do that with Phillip Rivers, Tom Brady. Jimmy Garoppolo tore us up because of that, and they're going to come out doing the same thing. So our defense has to be ready for that and have to be able to step up to the plate on that. That's the only part that worries me about this game is that they get the ball out quick, and we pretty much every time that happens, we're either really close or we're losing the game. So,
and the other thing that makes me feel good about it, I'm going to throw these names out here, and you guys tell me what position group this is. Corey Coleman.
Wide receiver? Yeah, wide receiver.
Philip Dorsett. And
next,
Cordarrelle Patterson.
The thing about that too, Coleman was cut by Cleveland, got picked up by someone else. I don't remember who, and got cut by them. So this is his 3rd team of this season.
And Cordarrelle Patterson, really?
He's not bad.
He's not bad.
Yeah.
I mean, come on, guys. I mean, Chris Hogan. Okay, I didn't throw him out there because he's got some potential, but
conveniently omitting the best receiving tight end ever
which
play.
would be a 3rd wide receiver on our team, and we have wide
Gronk
receiver
would be
issues.
a 3rd wide receiver on our team.
I say Gronk's a tight end. I'm not talking about.
I'm saying you can't leave out the
Everybody
number
knows
1
Gronk's the
receiving
issue,
tight
but
end
that's
of all
one
time.
guy. You don't think our middle linebackers can shut him down?
He was a beast last week.
I'm just saying, like, you're giving me these receivers like it's a con when they have the best tight end in the league.
It is a con.
Now, I get what you're saying. Like last week we had OBJ.
Yeah.
There's nothing even remotely
Who would
close
you
to
rather
that.
have, OBJ or Gronk?
That's a tough one. It depends on how they play him. If I'm the Jaguars, I say Ramsey go line up against Gronk 1-on-1. We'll let Patman, Joey's boy Patman, play the if he needs to or whatever. However they want to line up, put Boye on whatever side. I don't care. It really doesn't matter. And do what the Patriots do, but do it to them. Take out their weapon, and that's Gronk. Get him out of the game. And then see who else is going to step up for the Patriots.
I mean, everyone's game
That's
plan.
what I would do.
Everyone's game plan is to take Gronk out.
But everyone else doesn't have Ramsey who can do it.
Or Miles Jack.
I don't think
You don't
middle
think so?
linebacker.
That's fair, but
Yeah.
Gronk is the thing.
He didn't against the Jags last year.
That's only because we had a helmet-to-helmet hit. They gave him a concussion.
And who says we can't do that again?
Right, except this time do it in the first quarter.
I'm just saying.
We're talking strategy here,
You're
Jason.
banking on that is the only
No,
thing.
I'm banking
You're
on the
banking
fact
on what happened last time.
All right, Blair Brown, you want to make this team? Here's what you got to do.
No, I mean, but that's the truth. I mean, he got hit back-to-back pretty hard in the head.
He did, but even up until that point, he wasn't lighting the world on fire. I mean, they held him in check. They did hold him in check. I think they can take him out of the game and then see what they can do. But that's because that's what the Patriots do. They take what you're really good at, they eliminate that, and they say, all right, beat us another way. So I think the Jags should do the same thing.
Well, two things. One, the Patriots, because of Tom Brady alone, have always been able just to fill in any random wide receiver and still do the same thing year after year. All these receivers they have on their team, when they leave and they go somewhere else, usually don't have the same production value. One, Wes Welker. I mean, he went from having a stellar year to dropping off the face of the earth because he had Tom Brady beforehand.
He went to Denver and played all right with, Peyton Manning.
Before Tom Brady, and he had like 6 concussions.
Yeah.
Dude couldn't see straight.
It's 180-pound wide receiver going over the middle.
Yeah, exactly. The other side of that, too, is, I mean, Gronkowski, there's been teams that he's known to stay quiet during certain games at the beginning, but then he comes out at the end of the game, and that's when he catches 5 passes in a row for touchdowns and wins the game at the end. I mean, so
there's times when he's uncoverable, even with Jalen Ramsey.
Sure.
I'm sorry. He's just
Agreed.
too big.
He is. Agreed. But that's all we have to worry about.
I'm with you. But that's what I'm saying. It kind of compensates for the terrible wide receivers. But I think that the Jags will beat the Patriots by 14 points at least.
Oh.
Because after watching the game against the Texans, I think they're a worse team than us by a lot. Even more so than last year when I thought they were a worse team than us. Offensive line was okay, but the Texans' defensive line looked awful. J.J. Watt had one of the worst performances from a defensive end position I've ever seen in my entire life. We have a video on Twitter of him literally falling over at the snap, like not even being touched. It was sad. I don't like J.J. Watt, and I've had like sympathy because of how terrible he looked.
I've said it over and over. He's done, man. His back,
He's done.
You cannot have
Dude,
that kind
guy
of back
is
injury over and over. He is, unfortunately.
That goose is cooked?
Yeah.
Wow.
So then you look at their defensive line and their linebackers. I think we're going to run the ball all over them. The Giants have more individual talented players. The Patriots are more like work together as a team. And I think we're better against the teams that are like that. We struggle against the individual talent because we get so many penalties. We get pass interference. We get holding. We get things like that. And they make big plays on Blake. Whereas these systematic teams, we can hold the ball. We can eat up the clock, run the ball, kick field goals, score touchdowns, hold them to field goals, and just win the game. I think we'll end up winning by a lot at home.
Is there anything to be said for the fact that Belichick might have bitten off more than he could chew this year with the whole I can coach anybody and make them great thing? I think he really has, finally.
Yeah, probably some of that. And I think some of it, too, is just it's hard to sustain that kind of success for as long as they have. I mean, it's unreal.
And there's got to be that year where it falls apart.
Mm-hmm.
almost 2 decades.
Yep. I mean, having said that, they are 1-0 coming in. It's not like they did win.
Barely beat the Texans, who we think are pretty bad. I mean, they almost let the Texans come back on them.
Yeah, and Marino made the playoffs there. We put him in retirement. So we're going to see the same thing with Brady this year.
I mean, the running backs at New England, I mean, Rex Burhead and James White.
Hey, Sony Michel, man.
No, he's still hurt, isn't he?
I was going to say he didn't get any carries. I don't think he got any carries.
He didn't play in the last game, but he's possible for this game.
Philip Dorsett is their only receiver that is kind of scary to me. I don't know anything about Corey Coleman. I admittedly, I think he went to the Eagles is where he went, wasn't it?
Maybe.
And
wherever it was, he didn't make the team.
Yeah, he couldn't make the team. Both Cordarrelle, I think is how you say it, Patterson, and Chris Hogan didn't have good games, but Gronk had 7 receptions on 8 targets for 124 yards and a touchdown.
I'm going to go back to what you asked earlier. Would you rather have to go against OBJ or Gronk? I would rather have to go against Gronk because he's not as fast as OBJ. Our defense is
going to kill you in the red zone.
I understand that, but we have so much speed on our defense that someone can just mark him and he's not open. If you're not open, I mean, I know Brady will try and throw a jump ball to him, whatever, but I just don't see him being open that much. I really think our defense is fast enough to mark him. Like Telvin can run with him, at least long enough for our pass rush to get to Brady to it, where he doesn't have time to throw it to him.
Plus, if you don't think us worrying about Saquon Barkley in the Giants game affected some of our strategy as far as Odell went, it absolutely did.
Absolutely.
We don't have to worry about it. They do not have Barkley on their team.
Yeah, that's a good point. But his numbers. The dude was 3 for 3. This is Gronk. 3 targets, 3 receptions for 83 yards on 21-yard passes between the hashes. So right between our two safeties is where he's best. And I like the Ramsey him matchup, but they're going to scheme him to be on a safety or to be on Telvin. And I like Telvin, but I've seen Telvin blow coverages enough times to think Gronk could possibly burn us.
Do you think one player can beat our defense?
At least once.
Well, sure. Barkley beat us once.
So it's going to come down to our offense scoring 20 points. Can they do that?
Yes.
I think so too.
I think you're going to see a different offense than you did last week.
Yeah.
Not just because we're playing a different team, but because I think they're going to have time to gel a little bit more. And what I'm really talking about is the offensive line. Praying that Leonard Fournette is healthy. Leonard Fournette, when he went out of the game and went in the locker room, something changed in the game last week. So I'm hoping he comes back. I think Yeldon played well, but he's not Leonard Fournette. So hopefully his hamstring isn't that big of a deal and he can play, but I think you're going to see a different offense. I think Keelan Cole is going to show up a little bit more than he did this past week, but I think we're going to look a lot better on offense. And also, the Patriots defense wasn't anything stellar last year, and I think it's gotten worse this year. They lost their defensive coordinator, who should have stayed a defensive coordinator.
McDaniels had the right idea.
Right, absolutely. He's like, no, I'm going to chill. But no, I think it's a home game. The Bang has been sold out for this game for at least the lower bowl for a long time. It's going to be loud.
Oh, it's going to be like a playoff experience.
It's going to be a playoff atmosphere, without a doubt. So yeah, I think they're going to see more. But again, going back to the Gronk real quick, there's just certain times in sports where a player doesn't match up well against a certain team for whatever reason. I think this is one of those times where I just don't think he matches up well against the Jaguars for whatever reason, and partly because our defense is just so ridiculously good. But I don't know. OBJ scares me a lot more than Gronk, I guess is what I'm trying to say.
Plus, you want to talk about injury prone. Gronk is injury prone as well, and he's going to take some hits. So,
he's
he
not injured now.
I didn't say he's injured now, but we could definitely injure him without doing a helmet to helmet.
Maybe.
I don't know. I'm more concerned, like James said, about Fournette because I think he's not going to play, man. I don't think there's any way possible. No. Dude, hamstring injuries, I think they're playing the whole chess match of the doctor said this, yes, he's going to be there, scheme against us with Fournette because that's what you have to do. Dude, he didn't come back in the game, and he will, I'm sure, wanted to come back in the game. Hamstring injuries linger forever. It's soft tissue. You can feel better, make one run, one cut, and bam, it's back. That could go on all season.
He said it was something from high school.
He's dealt with it before, is what they said as well. So exactly, it's the same injury he's had before. I don't think he's playing personally. I think if he does, it's going to be limited. But I do think we'll be okay because I think the change last week was we were playing conservative and that all revolved around Fournette. When he went out, that was an adjustment we had a hard time making. This week, they're obviously going to scheme differently. So I think we'll be fine.
Who's the best player on the Patriots defensive line? Do we know?
D-line? Who's their nose tackle? Danny Shelton. He was at Cleveland for a long time. Really big guy. He's like probably 6'2", probably 320 pounds.
Vince Wilfork type?
Yeah, huge guy in the middle of the field. But Shaq Mason was kind of their bulldog against the Texans.
Yeah, he had a great game.
Yeah, and their middle linebacker, I forgot his name, but their middle linebacker had a really good game as well. I'd never heard of him. Stephen Gilmore and Eric Rowe were good, graded out well at DB, but their safeties didn't grade out well. So we'll see. Middle of the field will hopefully be there. I'd like to see more, like, one thing I noticed Jaguars don't do a lot is like corner routes. And I feel like the Patriots are weak on those corner routes. The Texans tried to expose that a few times. And I think it's because Deshaun Watson likes throwing corner routes. I noticed he throws them a lot. But I also think it might be because they're open against the Patriots because they play that cover 3 or that cover 1, kind of like we do. And I'd like to see us go to that more.
Will that be like a Keelan Cole type route?
Yeah, probably. Yeah. Or a Chark, I would think. Or Baron Jenkins, maybe.
I'll say this about the game. I have Chris Hogan and Keelan Cole on my fantasy team. I had Keelan Cole as a backup. I have him starting now over Hogan. I benched Hogan. I don't think he's going to do anything.
Hogan's that guy that has always had potential and has never lived up to it, either injury or he's never really flashed for a whole season. He's had moments.
I don't think he's like a potential guy. I don't think he was even drafted, was he?
No, yeah, I'm saying he's shown that
Did he play lacrosse? Yeah. He's like a lacrosse player.
He's had potential like number 2 receiver type numbers, but he's never done it.
I don't know.
He flashes. You're right. He flashes in big games, and you remember his name, but
I'm not worried about him at all.
No, you shouldn't be. Not against the Jags.
Jawan Bentley is the name of the middle linebacker who had a really good game.
Okay.
Trey Flowers had 2 sacks.
Again, against one of the worst offensive lines in the NFL, the Houston
agree.
Texans
You're right.
offensive line.
I mean, another thing to think about is the fact that we did have a very vanilla play call against the Giants. Marone, dude, he goes for it. Fake punts.
He's a vanilla guy.
Well, dude, he always has his trick plays too that he brings out sometimes, and he's also a big competitor. Who would he rather beat than anybody as far as coaches go? I think we're going to see a couple of those. We're going to see something when you're not expecting it.
Do I smell a bold prediction?
That is a bold prediction.
Yeah. Trick
Absolutely.
play?
Trick play is happening.
Philly.
Something.
Not sure what that is.
Philly was the play the Eagles ran twice.
So, any concern? What besides the fact that it's Belichick and Tom Brady? What is your major concern going into this game?
The referees.
Yeah,
really?
I was about to ask what squad's here.
Yeah, I mean, one offensive penalty last week. That's it. It was a holding on a wide receiver.
You know, I heard Chris Collinsworth say on the first game of the season, the Eagles-Falcons game, which say what you want about Chris Collinsworth, whatever. He said, on every play, offensive linemen hold.
Yeah.
Every single play.
Every single play.
It's just a matter of, do you hold on to the jersey? Does the ref catch it?
Like, how blatant is it?
What's that?
Right.
How blatant is it?
How much does it affect
So
the play?
the fact that they're only got called one time, one offensive play, was it even holding? Was that the penalty?
I don't know. It could have been a false start.
Could have been something. Yeah, false start. So, come on.
Dude, if it had not been so bad against the Jags in the playoffs, Philly would not have won the Super Bowl because the refs completely changed the way they called against the Patriots and against.
Right.
I mean, it was night and day. And there obviously one call. There's no way you only had one holding penalty.
And you notice the refs are seem to be better at letting the plays go and not blowing them dead so quickly.
They have to be.
Yeah.
I mean, not just
well,
the
you'd think that before last year, too.
I mean, not just last year with the Jaguars, but I mean, so many teams, they were just blowing plays dead when there's reviewing for a reason.
There was one play. What game was it? Was it the Florida game where the ball bounced out of the end zone on a fumble? And they let it go on, and then they reviewed it, and it was like there's no good angle, so they had to stick with the play on the field.
Yeah, that's true.
It was kind of obvious that it went out, but there's no clear evidence. Maybe it wasn't the Florida game.
It was unreviewable. You're right.
Yeah.
It was Florida.
Yeah, and so that's the only downside to letting the play go. But it just stinks when they blow it dead. And
I hope that's not the case, man, because that's the one thing that could just ruin what could be an awesome game, win or lose.
Yeah.
If that's what makes the difference.
Yeah.
And there might be riots at the stadium if that happens. I mean, seriously.
I might start it. You know where I'm going to start the riot?
Dog park.
Dog park.
Dog
Park's going down.
Dog park's going up.
We get robbed
flames.
because of the refs. The dog park is going down.
See you, pet paradise.
Yeah, that's right. See you in doggy hell.
So I mean, everybody has agreed then that Jags are winning?
By 14.
That's
Give me your score.
What, they're favorite. They're what? Patriots
No,
are favored by
it's a
3,
pick-em.
are they?
It was
I think
a
the
pick-em.
line moved. I think
Did
it's
it?
up to 2 for the Patriots now.
Really?
Yeah.
But still, we're underdogs at home.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Well, I mean, they beat us last year.
Chip,
Barely.
meat, shoulder.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You want a score prediction? I'll give you one. 10-24.
I like it. That's pretty.
I do.
Okay. Anyone else ready to give their score?
I'll say we'll win by a field goal. I don't know what the score's going to be, but we'll win by 3.
3 points.
Yeah.
Lambo, your boy
Lambo's
Lambo.
coming down.
Game ball number 2.
Exactly.
You just want to give them a game ball every week.
I know.
Hey, man.
I'm going to go 13-20.
Okay. Ugh. That's a good score. I like that score. I'm going to say 17-24. Jags.
Mm.
Yeah.
Right. Earlier you said 17-17. Is that not what you want anymore?
Did I say that?
The tie. You wanted a tie, right?
No way. No way. If it's a tie, I'm burning down the dog park. I'm looking for any excuse to burn down the dog park. Maybe in a victory. Maybe it's a victory riot.
If we win
you
the
know?
Super Bowl, there's
Oh,
gonna be
yeah.
riots.
I don't know. If they win the Super Bowl, I have to keep it up. Like it's a good luck charm.
No. There's no excuse.
I will say, I guess one of my main concerns is if we come out in this game flat, that would be a big concern, whether it's on offense or the defense doesn't look as good. Because if you can't get up for this game, that worries me. I don't think it's going to happen.
They're going to get up.
Yeah, there's
That's
no
such
way.
an overplayed narrative.
I don't think it is.
They're going to play.
How in the world do they not? Even if it's just it's their first home game.
All right.
Who's going to show up and be like, nah, it's not that big of a deal?
Yeah, it's just the Patriots who we should have beat you know, back in
I'm not
January.
saying that. I
Go to
mean,
the Super Bowl.
getting up at game time is one thing. I'm talking about the preparation for the week.
I think this
Like,
is
if you're not focused from the second that last
Okay.
game ended until game time and doesn't show, that's what I mean by getting up for it.
I think the prep that's happening right now in the practices in the film room is like what college rival weeks are like.
Absolutely.
Without a doubt. I think they know exactly what's going on. My concern is Fournette. I just want him to play. I mean, it's such a huge part of our team. And I agree with you, Joey. I'm very pessimistic about him playing because hamstrings just are finicky. They're weird. They're touchy. I like the fact that he was cleared by the doctors, but I just I don't know.
I almost hope that they know he's not going to play and they scheme without him involved, as opposed to hoping he is going to. He comes in for a couple plays and is out again.
Right.
I think he gets 10 to 13 carries.
Yeah. So they'll just limit it.
Yeah.
Well, that could be good too then.
Because, I mean, this game could, I get it, it's week 2, but, I mean, games against the Patriots affect the end of the year for most teams.
Yeah.
The Steelers beat the Patriots last year. They get the home field advantage. If we beat the Patriots last year, we get home field advantage. It's like, well, we win the other ones. But games against the Patriots, you got to treat them like they're playoff games.
And
Right.
historically, you want to play them early because that's the best time to beat them.
They lost to the Chiefs last year by 20 points in week 1.
Not only that, I mean, if we beat them, the momentum after that for the rest of the season is massive. To me, that's like pretty much our number 1 team we have to beat right now.
I think we have momentum.
We have
These
momentum.
guys are still, I mean, it was a close game to us, but I mean, these players are like still cocky, walking around thinking they can beat everybody. I mean,
We have momentum, but if we beat the Patriots, that is the best team currently. I mean, after week 1 from last year that we have to play this season. I mean,
well, the Eagles.
I just want to see Tom Brady cry.
They're going to cry.
after that
He'll
first
cry.
Yeah, he'll cry.
You know who cries
He's
that all their
capable of it.
receivers are coached to cry to the refs every single play. Yeah, he did it against the Texans too.
Mm-hmm.
Every single play, the ball is uncatchable. They just flop their bodies into the defensive player and then turn to the ref and throw their hands up. They're going to do it a bunch of times Sunday, and it's going to make you mad because I'm going to watch for it. Every single incompletion, that's what they do. Doesn't matter who the receiver is. That's how you know they're coached to do it because they did it last year and they're doing it this year. So annoying.
Drives me crazy.
Just
All
play
right.
the game.
Well, we all had the Jags winning. I think that's a good start because we all had the Jags winning last week, and they did. So maybe that's key as well. All right, let's talk about the division now. We've talked about the Jags. We all say they're going to go to 2-0. All the other teams are 0-1. We know for sure, and barring a tie, that one other team in our division is going to get a win because the Titans play the Texans. Who wins that game?
Texans.
Texans?
Yep. I think they're going to blow them out.
I have to agree, man. I think I might have been really, really wrong about the Titans being anywhere close to good because they looked like
It is
they
in Tennessee. Keep that in mind. It's a home game for the
Still,
Titans.
man. I mean, that didn't change the fact they looked like they didn't know how to play football. I'm off to go to the Texans too.
I agreed with James about the Tennessee not being as good as I originally thought, but I am going to pick Tennessee to beat them. They're home. Divisional games are always different, but I see Mariota bouncing back this week and doing better. And I think they, I don't know. Are we doing scores?
Nah, we don't need to do scores.
Okay.
I mean, if y'all really
I
want
think it's going to be pretty low scoring, but I think Tennessee ended up getting the win this week.
to. Okay. I'm going to stick to my guns and say Houston wins. I think Deshaun Watson's going to bounce back. I'm a little nervous about, Jason was right, J.J. Watt was non-existent in his week 1 performance. I think that happens again. But I just think Deshaun Watson's going to come back in a big way. I think he's got a lot to prove, and he can do it against Tennessee. Does Tennessee have fans? I mean, they have a home field
I think
advantage.
they're bots.
Yeah, something like that. So
Yeah.
the home field, I don't think that's going to last very long. And I think Mariota could be injured. I don't know. I don't follow the injury report for the Titans, but he came out of the game and then their, feared backup, Blaine Gabbert. Who knows what he can do?
They haven't posted a line yet for that game. I think they're waiting to see.
His injury, whether he'll play or not?
No, they haven't posted a line for
a
the
line.
spread.
Okay,
yeah.
sorry.
So I think they're waiting to hear about Mariota before they put a line out. Not looking good for Tennessee. Anytime you're at home and you're playing a team that was terrible last year and they don't have a line out for you yet and they're still waiting, that's not a good sign.
Not good. Okay, so we have 3 of us saying Houston wins. Robert, the lone wolf, is saying that Tennessee is going to bounce back. And then we have the Colts playing at Washington. Washington looked good. Keep in mind who they were playing, which is Arizona, who I think is probably
Awful.
awful.
Yeah.
They might be the team that has the first pick in the draft, or at least a top 3 for sure. So you have to take Washington's win with a grain of salt, but still they beat the pants off of them. So that's good for Washington. Anyone going to pick the Colts in this one?
No.
No.
I mean, I'm sticking with Washington. I mean, Adrian Peterson ran like he had something to prove this year. I mean, I think he's wanting to move up the charts as far as records go and Hall of Fame goes, and you're looking at one of the worst defensive lines in the league. So, I mean, I don't see how the Colts win.
I think the Redskins definitely win, but I think it's going to be a little bit closer than we expect. I think just the Andrew Luck factor, and I think, like we talked about, I mean, that was an easy game for the Redskins last week to kind of blow out a team, so I don't think it's going to be that close.
I agree 100%. I think the Redskins win, but I think it's a close game. Andrew Luck, not unfortunately, is back, played, I think, pretty well in week 1 in a loss, but they just have no one else on that team. I mean, they drafted a franchise quarterback and have done nothing to build a team around him. It's ridiculous. Every person in that front office should have been fired within the last couple of years because they've blown it with him.
Kind of going back to the Houston Titans game, do you think it's better for the Titans to win or lose that game since we play them the next week?
I don't think it matters. I think we beat them regardless.
So? Like, you want a team coming in 0-2 and mad?
Yeah, but if they that's fine, but they can't do anything about it. It's like a little kid throwing a hissy fit because they didn't get a lollipop. You're still not going to give them the lollipop.
You think it matters not at all?
No.
All right.
Not at all.
Fair enough. Just thought about it.
Let's go back to the Jags Patriots game real quick, and I'm gonna put you all on the spot. Give me a bold prediction. It can be on the offensive side of the ball or the defensive side. Just one bold prediction. And when I say bold, I mean bold.
I am nervous about this game, but I still think we have 3 picks.
Okay. That is bold.
I was going to say,
Taking out Tom Brady 3 times.
Bold. He did have a bad pick against the Texans.
Wait, Tom Brady threw a pick?
Did he throw 3 picks all of last year?
It got tipped, though. I mean, you know.
I'm just saying,
it was not Brady's fault.
So,
I mean, it was Brady's fault, but he did throw it.
Yeah.
It got tipped. So
okay.
Brady is our new Roethlisberger this year.
Wow. Okay. Hey, desperate times. Maybe they're getting killed, and he's got to just throw it up. You never know.
Kind of already said mine. I'll stick with it. I think the Jags won by over 14.
That's pretty bold.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, other than Brady crying out of sheer frustration, I'm going to go with D.D. Westbrook, 90 yards and a touchdown.
Ooh, okay.
Oh.
Well, then his touchdown is going to be one of the 3 that Blake throws on Sunday. There's my bold prediction.
Right.
Bortles has 3 touchdown passes. Or okay. Or how about 3? It counts for 3 touchdowns. So one of them might be a run.
Okay.
That's fair.
Yeah. Okay.
Bold, but fair.
Okay.
It doesn't seem that bold to me.
No?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, let me go back to the drawing board.
Jason's
real
just
quick.
like a Nazi with bold predictions.
Okay, how about
I'm a
bold?
Nazi with all this stuff,
How
right?
about bold? Fowler gets half a sack.
That's not bold.
And add to your 10
That's
over 8.
bold because he's going to get 3, and so it's just undercut.
Ngakoue needs to get 2 for me because I have him getting 16. That's 1 per game, and he got skunked in week 1.
Hey, on the radio he said today, a wise man once told him that sacks come in bunches.
That's true.
Ah.
That they do. Any other bold predictions you want to make about around the league? Anything you want to see?
I hope to God the Saints D isn't that bad. How about an anti-bold? Like, they're going to be good. Bold prediction. I don't know. I mean, I've got them in fantasy, and that was ugly.
Yeah,
I would have saw that
ouch.
coming. I mean, seriously, they were like a top 5 defense last year, right? I mean, they were close to it.
Yeah, they were good.
That was ugly.
I don't think they were top
They
5.
forgot how to tackle the last most important
That's kind of
play
their
of the
biggest
season
issue
for 'em.
last year was their defense. I mean, they were decent, but
Our tackling wasn't that great against the Giants. I think that might have been like first game back, but that's something that definitely stood out. We definitely graded out low with it, but it stood out too to the eyeball. We just didn't tackle well.
Mhm.
Got to tackle better against the Patriots because they're gonna get the ball in people's hands. We just got to be able to tackle them, whether it be short passes or screens or flares. Got to wrap up.
Here's a bold prediction. The Patriots are going to be losing, and the game, it's going to be clear that they can't win. And Brady's going to get sacked, and he's going to fake an injury so that he can not talk about the loss and just talk about this injury. There's my bold prediction.
Is that you're going to say he was going to fumble and Miles Jack was going to pick it up and he's going to run it back and get called down?
Oh, no. Terrible. All right, well, awesome. Anything else y'all want to add?
I'm good. Pretty straightforward. Jags win.
All right, well, that's going to wrap up episode 29. Thanks for listening. We hope that you will follow us on social media, Twitter, Another Jags Pod, Facebook, Instagram, Another Jags Podcast. Spread the word about us. We'd love to get the word out there now the season started. We're super excited. Thanks for listening again, and we will catch you after we defeat the New England Patriots and move to 2-0. And as always, go Jags.